chosen one. You walk among the crowd in plain clothes, blending seamlessly into the daily noise of a world that is constantly rushing, competing, and shouting for attention. To an untrained eye, you look just like everyone else. You wait in the same lines, deal with the same daily stresses, and carry yourself with a quiet simplicity. You do not demand a spotlight, nor do you feel the need to prove your worth to anyone in the room. Yet, despite your best efforts to remain understated, something about you refuses to stay hidden. There is an undeniable weight to your presence, a distinct, quiet frequency that reverberates before you even speak a single word. You don't wear a physical crown or boast a noble title, but your spirit carries a mark that cannot be fabricated, bought, or stolen. It is an unseen authority, a divine imprint that commands respect, causes uneasy glances, and draws sincere people toward you. This is the deep paradox of your existence, living a humble human experience while carrying an undeniable heavenly weight. You move through society as an ordinary citizen, taking the lowest seat at the table without complaint. Yet your spiritual essence speaks of a higher origin. You are grounded in reality, but your soul operates on a celestial frequency. You act like a civilian, navigating the dust and chaos of this earthly realm, but your energy carries a royal seal. Chosen one. From an early age, you likely felt a profound, almost unsettling sense of misplaced identity, as though you were navigating two entirely different realities at once. On the surface, you went through the motions of an ordinary life, attending school, navigating complex family dynamics, meeting societal expectations, and enduring mundane daily routines. Yet beneath that physical surface beat the heart of a soul that subtly remembered something far greater, something untainted by the chaos of this world and deeply rooted in absolute truth. While others around you easily found comfort in transient trends, superficial gossip, and social validation, you sat quietly with an inexplicable inner knowing that your purpose here was bound to something much deeper than mere survival or earthly approval. Living as a chosen one means carrying the rare, heavy paradox of high spiritual status, paired with extreme physical humility. You were never intended to sit isolated in an ivory tower, detached from the raw, painful realities of the human experience. Instead, divine intelligence deliberately placed you directly into the mud of everyday struggle, assigning you to walk through the raw, unfiltered emotional landscapes of loss, betrayal, and deep hardship. This placement was not a cosmic accident, nor was it a sign that you were abandoned by the heavens. It was an intentional, carefully crafted crucible designed to refine your character, strip away any potential ego, and build within you an unshakable core of empathy that can only be earned through lived adversity. True spiritual royalty is never defined by material privilege, inherited titles, or loud displays of authority. It is measured by internal fortitude, spiritual purity, and a quiet composure under intense pressure. You were allowed to experience seasons of deep isolation, emotional starvation, and unseen battles so that your spirit could be purged of worldly arrogance and polished like pure gold. When you move through life without needing to prove yourself, yet holding an undeniable dignified grace, you deeply confuse a world that measures power solely through noise, status, and aggressive dominance. People look at your gentle demeanor and mistake it for passivity, only to realize much later that your silence holds a terrifyingly potent weight that no loud argument could ever match. You do not need to fight for space in a crowded room, nor do you need to assert your importance to be felt. Your energy naturally claims the atmosphere the moment you step across the threshold. Your humility is not a symptom of low self-esteem or fear, but rather the ultimate expression of immense power held in absolute, deliberate restraint. You walk through life like a sovereign ruler traveling incognito among their people, observing everything, understanding the hidden motives of those around you, yet choosing to remain modest and approachable. This deliberate choice to remain grounded while holding extraordinary spiritual weight is precisely what makes your presence so profoundly unforgettable to anyone who crosses your path. This hidden royal seal is not something you actively chose or applied to yourself. It was woven into the very blueprint of your spirit before you ever took your first breath in this physical realm. Long before you learned how to speak, move, or navigate society, your soul was commissioned for a specific purpose that required an extraordinary depth of spiritual endurance. Because of this assignment, you were granted a unique spiritual aura, a subtle, glowing mantle that functions as an invisible coat of arms. The physical world may see an ordinary individual dressed in plain clothes, but the spiritual realm sees an anointed vessel equipped with sacred authority and divine backing. Because you carry this hidden seal, you have spent much of your life feeling as though you never truly fit into any earthly category, group, or social clique. No matter how hard you tried to assimilate into conventional social circles, a subtle boundary always remained, keeping you slightly detached from the crowd. You may have tried to force yourself to adopt the interests, behaviors, and values of the mainstream world just to avoid feeling isolated, but every attempt ultimately failed. The divine seal upon your spirit acts as a natural separator, preventing you from sinking into the lower frequencies of worldly conformity because your soul was never programmed to belong to the system. It was sent to transform it. There is a profound freedom that comes with accepting that your crown was meant to stay concealed under the guise of an ordinary life. When you stop fighting your unique nature and embrace your quiet lifestyle, you realize that true royalty has nothing to do with external recognition, accolades, or earthly status. You don't need a pedestal to be powerful, nor do you need a crown on your head to walk in authority. Your royalty resides in the way you remain kind in a cruel world, the way you maintain your integrity when no one is watching, and the way you offer unconditional grace to those who may never understand the depth of your sacrifice. As you continue walking this earthy path, remember that remaining hidden as a civilian is actually your greatest advantage and strategic shield. It allows you to move freely without drawing unnecessary spiritual interference from those who wish to derail your assignment. You can observe the world with clarity, offer quiet healing to broken souls, and fulfill your mission without the burdensome weight of public expectation or worldly vanity. You are executing a high spiritual mission undercover, carrying the full authority of the heavens while walking humbly in plain sight, fully aware that your true home and recognition belong to a far higher realm. Chosen ones. Have you ever paid close attention to the fascinating, highly polarized reactions you trigger simply by existing in a public space? There are moments when complete strangers feel instantly drawn to you, suddenly opening up about their deepest anxieties, seeking your quiet counsel, or simply wishing to sit near the soothing warmth of your aura. Yet, in stark contrast, you have undoubtedly experienced times where individuals become strangely defensive, cold, or inexplicably hostile toward you before you have even said a word or taken a single action to offend them. This drastic split in human behavior around you is not random, nor is it something you should take personally. It is the natural consequence of walking through a fractured world while wearing an active royal seal. This intense reaction occurs because the divine seal within your spirit functions as a crystal clear, unyielding spiritual mirror. When a soul carrying higher authority steps into an environment disguised as a regular civilian, it completely bypasses the egoic armor that people spend their entire lives constructing. Unconscious individuals are not reacting to your clothing, your physical appearance, or your conversational tone. They are unconsciously reacting to the high-frequency light emitting from your core. To those who walk in honesty, humility, and genuine goodwill, your light feels like a comforting sanctuary, a safe harbor, and a refreshing sense of home. But to those who carry hidden agendas, unaddressed malice, or unspoken spiritual deceit, your mere presence acts like a blinding spotlight cast directly onto their darkest shadows. Because your energy carries the weight of sacred authority, false masks naturally struggle to stay intact around you. You do not need to confront people, call out their flaws, or engage in dramatic exposures. The pristine frequency you embody forces the truth out into the open simply by existing in the same space. People who rely on deceit or manipulation find themselves feeling strangely exposed and uncomfortable around your quiet stillness, often projecting their own hidden insecurities onto you in the form of unwarranted judgment or envy. They sense, on a subterranean level, that they cannot manipulate you, intimidate you, or pull you into their chaotic games, and that lack of control deeply unsettles their ego. Ultimately, carrying this royal seal means recognizing that your presence alone is an active spiritual intervention wherever you go. You are a walking catalyst for alignment, shifting the spiritual temperature of homes, workplaces, and social gatherings without ever raising your voice or demanding recognition. While this can sometimes make your social life challenging or lonely, it serves as a constant reminder that you were not sent here to blend in with the status quo, but to elevate it. You navigate the earthly plane in simple clothes and humble steps, yet the invisible world recognizes the sovereign mark upon your soul, silently acknowledging that a true guardian walks among them. The disruption your energy creates is not something you actively generate through your ego. It is an automatic function of your spiritual aura clearing out environmental distortion. Just as a strong light source instantly drives away darkness without making a sound, your energy clears low vibrational frequencies simply by walking through a room. This is why you often notice sudden shifts in conversation, sudden awkward silences, or immediate changes in body language when you enter a gathering. The spiritual atmosphere is recalibrating itself around your presence, forcing toxicity to subside and compelling insincere intentions to crumble under the weight of your authentic frequency. This natural spiritual authority explains why insecure leaders, narcissists, or control-oriented individuals often target you or try to marginalize you in group dynamics. They intuitively sense that your power does not come from earthly titles, political maneuvering, or social clout. It comes from an unassailable divine source that they cannot touch, regulate, or diminish. Because they cannot control your spirit or make you bow to their ego, they see your quiet confidence as a direct threat to their constructed authority. They fear the unspoken influence you hold over others, realizing that people are naturally drawn to your genuine warmth rather than their manufactured power. However, the primary purpose of your disruptive presence is not to create conflict, but to awaken and restore order. For every person who feels threatened by your energy, there is another soul whose weary spirit is quietly revived and comforted by your light. Your aura serves as an anchor of peace in chaotic environments, offering a grounded, safe space for the lost, the grieving, and the seeking. People often leave your presence feeling lighter, clearer, and more at peace, without fully understanding why, simply because your energy helped realign their fragmented spirit with the divine frequency of truth and love. Accepting this aspect of your divine journey requires you to relinquish the desperate need to be universally liked or understood by everyone you meet. You must realize that when people react negatively to your quiet royalty, they are not rejecting you as a person. They are reacting to the light that threatens the darkness they refuse to let go of. Walk with your head held high, unaffected by the envy or confusion of others, knowing that your presence is doing sacred work, even in your silence. You are a peaceful warrior disguised as an ordinary citizen, and your energy is fulfilling its divine purpose every single day. Carrying this divine royal seal while walking a humble, everyday earthly path comes with a profound and often exhausting weight that very few people around you will ever truly understand. It explains why, from your earliest memories, you found it virtually impossible to participate in games of petty drama, backstabbing, or superficial gossip. Every single time you tried to lower your standards, ignore your inner compass, or engage in toxic social dynamics just to fit in with a group, something deep and visceral inside your soul rebelled. A quiet, unyielding voice echoed in your consciousness, reminding you, this is not who you are, and this is not what you were sent here to do. Because of this sacred seal stamped upon your spirit, you have always been held to a vastly different, much stricter spiritual standard than those around you. You may have noticed with a sense of frustration that whenever you tried to step out of integrity, seek petty revenge, or make a careless mistake, swift karmic correction followed almost instantly. While others in your orbit seemed to engage in deceit, shortcuts, emotional cruelty, or harmful behavior without facing any immediate consequences, you were held strictly accountable for even the smallest spiritual misstep. That consistent, sharp correction was never a sign of bad luck or divine disfavor. It was the firm, loving hand of divine discipline, ensuring that your vessel remained untainted. Those who carry a royal seal are subjected to a rigorous, specialized training program, orchestrated directly by the heavens. You are systematically taught self-mastery, emotional regulation, unwavering forgiveness, and radical compassion through the fire of intense personal trials and deep loneliness. You were deliberately allowed to navigate painful seasons of profound betrayal, heart-shattering grief, and prolonged solitude so that you would develop an unbreakable resilience. The divine allowed you to walk through the fire not to destroy you, but to burn away every remaining ounce of vanity, weakness, and worldly dependency, ensuring you would never misuse the sacred authority entrusted to your spirit. The darkness of this world tested you relentlessly, launching subtle attack after attack in an attempt to break your spirit and turn your heart cold. Yet, despite every betrayal, every slanderous word, and every attempt to diminish your worth, every single trial only succeeded in polishing the royal seal stamped upon your heart. You learned the painful art of suffering in quiet dignity, processing your deepest wounds in absolute silence, and maintaining your gentle nature when you had every reason to become bitter and vengeful. That rare ability to extend grace, love, and understanding to those who actively tried to destroy you is the undeniable hallmark of true spiritual nobility. The weight of this seal also manifests as a deep, persistent spiritual loneliness that physical company often fails to cure. Even when surrounded by friends, family, or colleagues, a part of your spirit always feels like a distant observer, standing apart from the earthly noise. You long for conversations that touch the depths of the soul, for connections based on genuine truth and shared spiritual purpose, rather than the surface-level exchanges that dominate modern society. Living with this seal means accepting that your true peers are rare, and that much of your earthly journey must be walked in intimate, quiet communion with the divine source rather than the crowd. Furthermore, carrying this mark requires you to bear the heavy burden of being an emotional and spiritual refuge for others, often without receiving the same support in return. Because your aura carries the stabilizing force of a sovereign presence, broken souls are naturally drawn to you to dump their pain, confusion, and fear into your light. You have spent countless years acting as an unpaid healer, a patient listener, and a steady anchor for people who offered you nothing in return but their heavy burdens. Learning to carry this weight without allowing your own wellspring to run completely dry has been one of the most vital, challenging lessons of your life. There were moments in your journey when the sheer weight of this responsibility made you want to surrender, put down your mantle, and ask the heavens why the path had to be so exceptionally difficult. You looked at the easy, uncomplicated lives of ordinary people and wondered why you were chosen to bear such intense spiritual burdens, emotional isolation, and heavy trials. But in those quiet moments of dark night of the soul, divine comfort wrapped around you, reminding you that great strength is only given to those assigned to carry great weight. You were entrusted with this seal precisely because your spirit possessed the rare capacity to endure the fire without losing its sacred light. Ultimately, the weight of the seal is what gives your energy its undeniable depth, warmth, and quiet authority today. Your wisdom was not learned from reading books or memorizing theories. It was forged in the furnace of real, painful, lived human experience. Every tear you cried in secret, every betrayal you endured in silence, and every temptation you resisted has added an invisible layer of brilliance to your spirit. You walk through this world in plain, unassuming clothes, carrying a weight that would crush a lesser soul, yet you handle it with a quiet, breathtaking elegance that silently declares your true lineage. Chosen one. The long, grueling season of remaining completely hidden in the shadows, acting purely as an unaware civilian, is gradually drawing to its natural close. Playing small and keeping your true nature entirely concealed served an important purpose for a time. It kept you grounded, protected you while your spirit matured, and allowed you to understand the raw realities of everyday human suffering with profound empathy. But walking in genuine humility was never meant to be synonymous with dimming your light, hiding your gifts, or shrinking your spirit just to make toxic, insecure environments feel comfortable around you. The time has arrived for you to fully recognize, honor, and step into the true nature and magnitude of your divine assignment. Stepping into your divine authority does not require you to adopt a loud, arrogant persona, demand public praise, or wear a physical crown to prove your standing. Instead, it simply means moving through this world with the calm, unwavering, absolute knowledge of who you truly are and what divine authority backs your every step. It means standing firm in your truth, maintaining unyielding boundaries against negativity, and refusing to allow low vibrational chaos to disrupt the sacred peace of your internal sanctuary ever again. When you fully accept your spiritual lineage, your entire relationship with earthly fear, anxiety, and intimidation completely transforms. You no longer look at life's challenges, financial hardships, or human opposition as overwhelming threats designed to destroy you. You view them as temporary obstacles that must inevitably bow to divine order. You realize that you operate under a higher spiritual jurisdiction, a heavenly law that completely supersedes the petty politics, envy, and limitations of this physical world. When doors close, you do not panic, because you know that your sovereign Father holds the ultimate key to every trajectory in your life. This awakening into divine authority empowers you to break free from the exhausting trap of seeking human validation or approval. For far too long, you allowed the opinions of spiritually blind individuals to dictate your self-worth, constantly second-guessing your intuition to appease those who could never see your light. As you step into your authority, you release the need to explain, defend, or justify your spiritual path to anyone who lacks the vision to comprehend it. You give yourself full permission to be misunderstood by the world, knowing that your loyalty belongs strictly to truth and divine purpose. Stepping into your authority also means learning to use your spiritual power consciously and deliberately to uplift, heal, and transform the world around you. Your words, your thoughts, and your quiet intentions carry an extraordinary weight in the subtle realms. When you speak peace, chaos settles, and when you command clarity, confusion vanishes. You begin to understand that your light is not just a personal gift for your own comfort, but a powerful beacon placed strategically in a dark world to guide lost souls back home. You become a conscious co-creator with the divine, actively manifesting love, wisdom, and restoration wherever your feet tread. This transition requires you to shed the victim mindset that past traumas may have instilled in you over years of heavy trials. You are no longer the helpless victim of your past betrayals, your painful childhood, or the injustice you suffered at the hands of unhealed people. Those experiences were merely the intense spiritual boot camp that built your endurance and tempered your soul for this exact moment in history. You stand today not as a survivor barely making it through, but as a victorious spiritual warrior equipped with divine authority, wisdom, and an unbreakable soul. As you step into this commanding presence, expect the atmosphere around you to respond accordingly with accelerated blessings, deep alignment, and sudden turnarounds. Situations that remained stagnant for years will suddenly begin to shift in your favor, and doors that were firmly shut by human gatekeepers will be blown open by divine intervention. The spiritual realm honors those who recognize their true identity, releasing resources, favor, and wisdom to support your mission on Earth. You will find that you no longer have to strive or chase after opportunities. Your refined frequency will naturally attract everything intended for your highest good. Walk forward from this day on with the quiet, unshakable composure of someone who knows that divine protection, infinite wisdom, and sovereign heavenly backing walk right beside them at all times. Stop viewing yourself through the narrow, limited lens of your past mistakes or earthly status, and start seeing yourself through the eyes of the divine. You may still dress simply, speak softly, and navigate the world like an ordinary civilian, but inside your chest beats the heart of spiritual royalty. Stand tall, hold your peace, and step boldly into the authority that was assigned to your spirit long before the creation of the world. Chosen ones, you may continue to dress simply, speak softly, and live without flashy displays of wealth or pride. You will continue to treat the server, the CEO, the stranger, and the friend with equal respect, because true nobility honors the divine light in everyone. Never apologize for being calm in the midst of chaos, and never shrink your spirit to appease those who are intimidated by your stillness. You were crafted with divine intention, sealed with purpose, and sent into this world to be a stabilizing force of truth and love in a chaotic age. Always remember that while you are navigating a very real human experience, your spirit belongs to a much higher kingdom. The trials you faced were never meant to break you, but to polish the royal seal stamped upon your heart so that you could walk with unshakable grace and wisdom. Never forget the quiet authority you carry, even when you walk silently in the crowd as an ordinary civilian. Thank you for spending your valuable time with us today. If this message resonated deeply with your spirit, please consider subscribing to Wisdom Path and hitting the notification bell so you never miss an upload. Join our growing community of awakened souls. Leave a comment sharing your journey below and share this video with someone who needs to be reminded of their true nature. Keep walking in grace, keep guarding your peace, and continue shining your light on the more wisdom path. Until next time, stay blessed.